Okay, I will be doing a meditation wrapped into the lesson. So we're skipping the meditation here on purpose. As I said, so it is December already. And what was our annual theme? Just love. I got to tell you, that is permanently woven into me. It has been a perfect mantra in so many times. And so, in some sense, I hate to move on to 2023, but that's okay. I can take it all with me. It's not exclusive. Um, so, just love, again, you'll continue to see that and hear that, but we have chosen our new theme for 2023. Would you like to know what that is? Being your authentic and true self. And this is not about, oh, I go out into the world and I eat my favorite food and do my favorite things. This is about coming back to your center and knowing truly who you are in each and every day and each and every moment. And as we bring ourselves back to knowing that true self, then as we move into our day, that expression makes a difference as we move, have our being, as we speak with people and do what we do. You come from the place of your true self. So I'm excited about 2023. We're working on creating that bookmark. So it'll be coming soon. Of course, it will have a list of books. Every 2 months, we'll have a new book. And thanks to all of you who gave me suggestions. So that bookmark hopefully will be ready probably on January 1st when we celebrate Kwanzaa. And so I look forward to that, and that's something for us all to look forward to. So I always like to test you. What's today's lesson title? Return to Love. Based on the book, Return to the Mother, Return to Love. Now, we are a Center for Spiritual Living, and we're based on the Science of Mind philosophy by Dr. Ernest Holmes. Dr. Ernest Holmes was an amazing individual, quite a writer, both a poet as well as just how he spoke to melding his understanding being influenced by many different people, including transcendentalists, so Thoreau and Emerson, as well as several others. I could name a list, and we have classes that share on that. Of course, Dr. Ernest Holmes was raised in a Christian family. He speaks to many different aspects of truth. Now, when you think about a mountaintop, and yet you're at the base of a mountain, you can approach that mountaintop from how many different perspectives? It's like a pyramid, right? So at least 360 degrees. So there's at least 360 degrees of how we can approach truth. And in the Center for Spiritual Living, this book has a Native American perspective and view as the author writes about her experience with the grandmothers. So, how many of you are actually reading the book? Okay, maybe 10 of you or so. I'm going to be taking a couple quotes from the book, so if you haven't had a chance to hear about it, you'll be getting an essence of that. So let me hear from those of you reading the book. If you had a few words or a phrase, a sentence about what do you think the book focuses on, what would you say? Say that again. The web of light, the interconnection and the oneness that we all are a part of. There is no separation. And in the book, while she talks about talking to the grandmothers, as you move through the book, she begins to realize that she is them, as well as some of the other characters that have been her advisor and have been the wisdom speaking to her. What else? Come from love is your action. Again, your daily spiritual practice coming from that love. And if you are centered in that love, what do we know energetically? We're vibrating that love. And even though people will say, oh, you'll find those in society. Prayer, what's that? Positive energy, what's that? the truth is that we will vibrate at a different frequency based on where we focus our attention. Anybody else? Okay. The book also talks about yin and yang. And the book is sharing with us that there is a lot of yang in this world. And all you have to do is look at politics to basically say, yeah. Many of you know that I love to use the metaphor of the heart being the gas pedal and the mind being the steering wheel. So I would say the yin is the gas pedal and the yang is the steering wheel. And they need to work together, do they not? And do we have a lot of egos that the minute something happens, like an American was freed from Russia, it's pretty sad to watch where people go with that, immediately. And I think to myself, oh my gosh, what it takes to negotiate any prisoner is not something that I expect that I know everything about, and hence I'm not willing to judge who, what, where, when. I'm just happy that somebody is back on American ground, right? Freedom. Isn't that what we're for? So my point in all of this is the yang is not to cause deference to yang, but that yin has been suppressed. And that as a society, meaning we may be physically that we label ourselves male and female or non-binary, but the point is that it is all within us. We are all one. And what the book is asking us to do is consider rebalancing more yin than yang. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, about relationships in a minute. The book also, again, being Native American, reminds us to connect with nature. Are we in gratitude that we are receiving moisture, snow, and water? I'm actually disappointed that there was supposed to be more on the way that hasn't happened, but that's my expectations. All is well. So here we are with nature, and again, remembering our oneness and remembering in gratitude, how we live on Mother Earth is in our oneness. It supplies for us, and we are one humanity on Mother Earth. And I want to reshare the story that I shared before, saying, many of us in the nation will say that we are divided. Well, if you want to look in the body, we have heart cells, kidney cells, pancreatic cells, skin cells, blood cells, brain cells. Are they fighting over who each of them are? Or are they working as one body? We are one. And if that's what we choose to look for, we will recognize that oneness. So the book talks a lot about the net of light. And the way I look at it is it literally says we are the fabric of the universe. In other words, while we may visibly with our eyes been told you are separate from me, the truth is that, and COVID demonstrates it so, we all breathe the same air. We all live off of the same earth in order to be sustained. We are a community, and we at the Center for Spiritual Living is a net of light as a part of the weaving in that fabric of the universe. And we bring our light, this community brings our light out into our lives, into Chico and beyond. So this book is an excellent reminder in perfect principle with what we believe in the science of mind, because again, it is truth being approached from another perspective. All right, I'm going to read just a couple pages to whet people's appetite and to share a little bit more. Make sure I find the right area. Yes. Although hysteria is mounting in the world today and fear is feeding, don't allow fear to feed on you. As evil as the terrorist actions are, they will eventually pass. We promise you that. The net of light is the fabric of being in the universe, and it is no small thing to connect with the fabric of being of the universe. The net is the underpinning of creation. Therefore, if you ever catch yourself falling into fear, call on the net of light. Call on it 1,000 times a day. Connect with one another through the net. And as you do, welcome all forms of the divine that you love. Call on Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Mary, Krishna, Lakshmi, the grandmothers. Call on them all. Each is a different form of the one. So when you call on one of them, they will all respond. At this time, while the energy on Earth is changing, and always has been, those of you who stay connected to the source will sense a lifting. You'll experience a rising and an expansion. And as you lift up, you'll draw thousands with you. Staying connected to the source during these difficult times you're living in will create a higher and higher vibration for you. And this vibration will form an updraft, one that's able to lift huge amounts of energy. Wherever there is high energy like this, the updraft it creates causes elevation for all. At this time, many people have made a commitment to keep themselves tuned to the divine, no matter what. More and more of you are doing this now, and the decision you've made is enabling you to hold your vibration high. Here's how it works. Everything is energy. You are energy. We are energy. Everyone is energy. And when people call on us or any form of the divine, energetically, they automatically connect to the net of light that supports life everywhere. Are you committed to your spiritual practice? Do we need to be committed to this spiritual practice? And that's what we do in this community. So our spiritual practice causes us to pause, to connect to the divine, to connect to that love, light, peace, joy, all within us. So let me ask you a question. Daily, are you focused more inward or outward? Another way, are you focused more internally or externally? Now, I'll admit it. I'm working. I'm focused externally, but I start my day focused internally, and I end my day focused in affirmative prayer. And then mindfulness in between. If I can take a walk, if I can connect with nature. So your commitment is based on your habits, whatever habits you choose to create. So let me ask you this question. Where do you think there's more freedom, inward or outward? Why would you say inward? The truth exists there. Yes, internally we have the choice. We get to make the choice of decorating our tree, of shining our light, of focusing on the light and love that is leading us. Internally, we have unlimited imagination, unlimited potential. Now, I've said this before, you realize we're a chemistry lab. Based on your thoughts, watching the news, you can go to focusing on fear. I'm not saying don't watch the news, but watch what the news does to you. And then focus internally and remind yourself of what you know as the truth. And whether that's decorating your tree, as John Boyle did the meditation this morning, decorating your tree of life and spending time in that decoration, in that, how do I see me? Well, in the case of the tree, I turn on my tree and my lights every night and shut off all the lights because I love how that feels. And if you come to our candle lighting service as we do the silent night and light each other's candle, it's a very special moment and so symbolic for the net of light. So, what we're asking you to do is let's do a spiritual practice. Let's bring ourselves internally together. So, last minute last night, I changed my lesson because I found, I haven't finished the book, but I found a meditation on the net of light. Would you like to join me? So if you want to get yourself comfortable, centered, and I'll ask you just to start with focusing on your breathing. Breathing the breath of life. Breathing, which brings us into this present moment. Now consciously breathing into our heart, into the yin, into the warmth, the loving embrace, the exuding of love with a capital L. Begin to work with the net of light by thinking of a vast lighted fishing net spread over the earth and stretching into the distance as far as your eyes can see. This is the great net of light that will support the earth and all life on this planet during these times of change. The net of light covers the earth from above, from below, and permeates the earth like a great big grid. It penetrates, holds, and touches everything. This is the net of light that will hold the earth while the energies of yin and yang shift. And they will shift. The change has already begun. Walk forward and take your place on the net of light. Somewhere between two of the strands coming together, forming an X or a T, it's a place that will feel just right to you. Walk forward and take your place there. Here you can rest and allow the net of light to hold and support you, while at the same time you support it. Many times we have said that the net of light is lit by the jewel of the heart. This is true. Experience now as the radiant jewel of your own heart begins to open and broadcast its light along the strands of the net. Every person who works with the net of light is linked in light with others who are also at work with it. Experience your union now with people all over the globe who are connected by the net of light. Some call it a web of light, a lighted grid, the cosmic web. But whatever you call it, it's the same construct. Call on this net and find your place on it. And think of both receiving and sending light throughout this vast network. As soon as you think this thought, your energy will follow, and you will feel the net of light working in you and through you. Experience your union with us and all who work with us. There are thousands of you all over the earth. Experience your union with sacred and holy places on this planet and all the sacred and holy beings, the great saints, sages, and avatars who gladly give their lives in service and who have come at this time to avert that which may loom over earth. Experience your union with those of good heart who seek the highest good for all life. Know and feel the power of this union, and let your body experience this force of and for good. Once you have strongly felt this power, begin to cast the net of light to those who don't know about it. Cast wherever there is suffering to human beings, animals, and conditions of every kind, to all forms of life, and to Mother Earth herself. Magnify the presence, the net of light for people who are longing to serve but haven't yet found a way to access the divine. As you cast the net of light, many who have, until this moment, been asleep to the fundamental connection we all share, they will begin to awaken and feel the spark of divinity coming to life within them. Ask the radiant net of life to hold all life in its embrace, and know that each time you work like this, you are adding to the reach and the power of the great net. Cast the net to all women and men everywhere. To the leaders of the world to remind them that they are a precious part of the net of light that holds and supports all life. Cast to the animal kingdom, asking that every animal receive what it most needs. Cast to the plant kingdom and to the mineral kingdom. Cast to the ancestors, to the elemental spirits, and to the elements of earth herself. Cast to everything that lives, and when you have done that, ask that everyone in all the world be happy. This is how to work with the net of light. There is no greater service you can perform. We ask you to give from your heart and work with the light of the net of light every day. Do it for yourself, for the sake of everything that lives. We bless you. Just take a moment with that. Take a deep breath. Wiggle your hands, your toes to bring yourself back in the room. How was that? We have that choice to turn within, that choice to remind ourselves who we truly and authentically are. that we are vehicles of this love, that love is distributed through each one of you. We're moving into the holidays, and I know for some of you that's a joyful, loving time, and for some of you that may not be so joyful and loving. It may be lonely, it may be difficult, again, based on previous experience. But I want to call on you all for that net of light. I have a very large extended family. We don't usually have a lot of family feuds, but there's not just one, but two of them. And I'm bringing our meditation into form and tangible here, meaning that as I stand back with a broken heart to feel that at this Christmas season there are these two fissures happening on, my first response was, guess what? Just love. Just love. For my family, many of them Catholics or Christian, that's what Jesus said. But then it's not really about what Jesus said. It's really about what Jesus did. It was really about behavior. It was really about knowing. How many times did Jesus say, know thyself? In so many different ways. Ask and ye shall find that which you're looking for. So, are you going to look for blame? Are you going to look for defensiveness, judgment, righteousness? Or are you going to look for love? You see this, again, surrounded by us, and why it's so important for us to connect it to the divine is there is a lack of compassion, the too much yang that's happening, to immediately and critically judge. Now, we all need discernment in order to make decisions in life, correct? But how tightly do you hold on to your judgment of others and the choices they make? I remind myself that as I make my choice, it is reflected back to me, and as they make their choice, it is reflected back to them. That's not my business. My business is to love. That is my business. So what does it look like to return to love, to return to the yin, to return to the heart? The heart melts away the critical mind that I believe is hardening people's hearts now. But we have to show how not to judge. We have to show how to just love. So I end with a couple paragraphs from the book called This Thing Called You by Dr. Ernest Holmes. It's the first book for 2023. And then I've added a little bit to the end. God is right where I am. God is what I am. All that God has is mine now. I enter into the conscious possessing of this divine allness, this universal bounty, this perfect reality today. I know that it is manifesting in my life. The freedom of God is my freedom. The power of God is my power. The presence of God is within me. The mind of God is my mind. The strength of God is my strength. The joy of God is my joy. And the love of God is my love. And that love is always present. I return to this love throughout each day by visiting my heart and allowing this love to nurture me and guide me to my highest good. And so it is.